it has been a while. I haven't uploaded in a long time, and this year has just, not gonna lie, I don't have much of a plan for this video. I kind of just found that I have the house to myself, and felt like filming something. I've been wanting to come back with another video for a while now, and I had one in the works from between, I think, like May and August or something, but a lot of things happened. Everything just kind of went to crap, went to shit apparently. So I want to try and make this video a little bit lighthearted if I can, but truth is it's not that lighthearted. I kind of just wanted to film a little bit of like a life update sort of thing, check-in video. I'm not gonna lie, this is not one I'm gonna be, advertising on my Instagram or Facebook page I've made or anything. It's probably just gonna be up there on YouTube. Hello. Hi. Someone just decided to say hi and make sure this video was all happy. Thank you for coming in to visit us, my baby. So Miss Trixie says hi. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to put cables in there. Can you put that away, please? Yes, I know, but I'm filming. You can sit here and be quiet and be nice. You can sit here while I film. This year has really just been a whirlwind, I think, for everyone. COVID has had a really big effect on everything. It's really just it swept the world and no one knew how to deal with it, least of all me. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to come on camera and say a few things because, okay, seriously, I need you to put your tail away. Stop it. I've just had a lot go on. I've had a few friends. I know I don't have a huge following, and that's okay. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to feel supported by the people close to me and the people who really matter to me, so that's important. And I guess I kind of wanted to come up here on the platform and just say thank you to all those people who have been supporting me through everything. Because basically since November, around this time last year, I've been going through just a lot. It's kind of when everything started, at least for me. November 4th, 2019, my long-term partner, who I honestly thought I would spend the rest of my life with, left me. It has since been over a year since that's happened, and we are on good terms. I do consider him a friend and he considers me a friend. So even though at the time I thought that was like the hardest thing I'd ever have to deal with, which it was at the time. He was my first partner, first boyfriend, first love, and that was really hard to deal with. And then I had certain family members get sick. Both of my grandmothers got a bit ill, and it was very concerning because obviously they're both at an age now where getting ill is not, it's a little bit more concerning. And then I don't know how many people who watch my videos are from Australia, where I live, or are from overseas, but we had our bushfires. We even had one in the town where I currently live. I wasn't affected. I didn't have to evacuate, but I did have a few friends who had to evacuate their homes. It was just overall extremely stressful. And one of the things I advocate for and I want to advocate for on my channel is mental health, and that my channel is a safe space for people to come to if they have issues and they're dealing with certain things. I am someone who deals with anxiety, and it's something I deal with, on a daily level. I've dealt with it since I think I got diagnosed when I was 18, but I've been dealing with it for a lot longer than that. And it's hard. someone just doesn't like it when the attention's not on her, apparently. So, sorry about that. Sit. There you go. You can sit with mum while she films, as long as you're quiet. There's gonna be a lot of editing in this video, I can tell. And then New Year's came around. Everything seemed to, almost be going okay. And then COVID really hit. It came to Australia pretty quickly. And before we knew it, we had a lockdown. I think shortly after I started my channel, actually, which was on my birthday. And that was super stressful. It was hard to deal with in general. People were losing jobs. I know my dad lost, a lot of work. Family members had to work from home. You had to get used to being at home with each other. Which for someone like me who is very family orientated, that's fine. I actually kind of enjoyed it. Although, let's be honest, I think me and my brother nearly killed each other once or twice. But that's okay. That's all good. It's what siblings do. It was just very hard. And I know that there's a lot of people out there like myself who have mental health issues. And to not be able to go out and do the things you normally could do to help cope, or to see people, or having to make the switch from, seeing people in person or seeing medical professionals that really help you out, like psychologists, psychiatrists, just professionals. You have to now do it over Zoom calls. And in a way, thank God for Zoom, because I don't think if it wasn't because of like FaceTiming and Zoom calls, there's a lot of people I would have lost contact with. And I think that would have been really hard. And at least being able to see people's faces, even if it's just on a screen, it helps in a weird way. I think just seeing someone else's face is helpful. But honestly, I feel like the hardest part of this year has been the last 3 months, because I don't know how many people watching this video would know this, but I thought breaking up with someone and the grief of that kind of loss was the hardest thing I'd ever have to deal with. I'm only 22, which I know is old for some people, and for others it's still young, but it felt, especially at the time, like the world was falling apart around me before it had even started. But then on the 18th of August, I had to, we were at home. My dad was at work because he finally got to go out and was able to go back to work. I was at home with my brother, who has autism, for those who don't know. He was still asleep, and my mum was home working. But on the 13th of August, I had to call an ambulance for my mother. And I've never had to call an ambulance for anyone. My mum has had a history of certain health problems, but it's never been that serious that paramedics have had to be called. She ended up in hospital, in the ICU, in the emergency units, with extremely bad, I think they call it acute pancreatitis. And that was really hard. She was in and out of ICU for about 2 weeks, and then she ended up, in those 2 weeks, finally getting her own room. We were able to FaceTime her every day, but it was really hard for her. She was extremely stressed and was terrified of being in hospital, to the point where we were told that they actually had to induce my mother into a coma for 24 hours because she wasn't responding the way that they wanted her to the treatments, because she was so terrified of being in a hospital during COVID, and it was just, she couldn't respond the way that they needed her to. Eventually, she got in a coma, she got out of it the next day, and she was responding to treatments, and she was becoming not healthier, but she was recovering, and the recovering was good enough that after 2 weeks in hospital, she was able to come home. And I honestly can't tell you how excited and how happy I was to have her home. And when she got home, there was a lot of tears, but a lot of joy at the same time to have her back, because it's interesting when you spend so much time together in lockdown, seeing each other literally every day, and then someone is gone, an integral part of your house is gone for 2 weeks, and you don't know how to respond to that. So the second she got home, it was just an absolute relief. And then the next day, I went to work as you know, normal. And there was a lot of joy from my colleagues as well, my bosses, saying how glad that they were to hear that she had come home, and looking forward to a speedy recovery. I get home that day, and an hour later, I was calling an ambulance for the second time because my mother suddenly couldn't breathe, and it wasn't like the first time. It was terrifying. I ended up not being able to even answer the caller for the emergency services. I had to pass the phone to my dad, and I tried my best to prepare everything for when the paramedics came over. I knew what to do this time. Not even an hour after I'd gotten home, and not even 24 hours after my mother came home from hospital, my mother passed away. And this was on the 28th of August, and today when I'm recording this, I think it's, I think it's the 30th of November. Yes, it's Monday the 30th of November. So, myself, my brother, and my dad had no idea that we were watching my mother die in front of us at home. And when I say that it does something to you to see that happen to someone you love so much, that is an understatement. Like, I'm going to be honest, the past 3 months have been hell for me. And I thought the months before that, with COVID and my mental health having a steep decline, I thought that was going to be the hardest part after a breakup and everything else. But I honestly can't describe to you what that feels like at 22 years of age, to lose your mother who was only 52, and to watch all the emergency services turn up to help her and do everything that they could to save her, and being told that your mother wasn't waking up. I don't make this video because I just feel like talking about it. In a way, I do. And I know, like, it's been 3 months. I've had time to sit with it. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt any less. And I realize my dad just got home. So I'm gonna pause recording and I'm gonna come back to this. Okay, so I'm back. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that Dad came in just then after picking up my brother from work. I needed to step away from the camera, I think. I'm not someone who is ashamed of crying. It's kind of been established to anyone who knows me that I am a bit of a crier. But that's okay. Like I said, it's kind of important to me to talk about these things. And I hope that anyone watching this knows that this is a safe space to do that. And that in the future when I make more videos, because I would like to make more videos, that maybe you're one of those people like me. I go and I watch certain people's videos because they just make me feel good. And who knows, maybe that might be something that you do when you come to my channel, so who knows. But as I was saying before I got up, when you lose a parent, and I think when you lose anyone, especially in a situation like 2020, like COVID, there's no real like good way of not even there's no good way, there's no solid one way of healing yourself after that. I feel like the past 3 months have gone by in a blur. Like the first month especially, it did not even register with me. It felt like all the days had merged into one, or in like the span of a week. But then someone told me that it was already like the middle of September, almost October, and I couldn't believe it. And it is hard. I find that even though I'm trying to adjust and I have taken my time, and for those concerned, I have still been seeing my psychologist that I've been seeing for over a year now. I'm trying to be better at taking care of my health. I don't have the healthiest habits, and I know especially in the last few months, whether it's due to my anxiety or, dare I use the word, trauma of watching someone who's such an integral part of me and my life pass away in front of me. I haven't been able to sleep very well. I've been making an effort to try and get my sleep back on track, trying to eat properly. As you can probably see in the background, I have a lot of vitamins and Vitagummies that I try to take just to keep myself at least physically healthy, because that is something that I struggle with a lot. I also, just like I said earlier in recording, I really wanted to come on here mainly just to thank publicly all the people who have been a real huge support for me. I've been very fortunate in that I have a number of really, really good friends and family members and just people I'm connected to who really care about me. And even though everyone has been going through their own issues and trying to deal with the stress of 2020 in their own way, there's been so many people who have tried their best to rally around me and help me feel better about myself and everything that's happened. And I'm just really thankful for all of you watching this and for everyone who did that for me. I've had people I haven't even spoken to in years send me flowers, send gifts, send cards, call me, send me messages on Facebook, Instagram, texted me. I had people write things on my mother's Facebook page that just made me cry so much. And Lord knows I have done a lot of crying recently, and just this year in general. But I don't want all the bad that's come out of this year, especially the last few months, to completely overshadow the good things, like the people that I do still have. And I know that's a big thing to say, because it wasn't just, for example, that, and I don't want this to be triggering to anyone, but like if you lost, I don't even know how to say it, like a more distant family member, or a pet, which is still really, they're both still really close. And I've experienced that loss as well. Not this year, but, in the past few years. But I've had friends this year who have lost other people as well. I've had really close friends lose grandparents, lose uncles, aunties, cousins, not necessarily even to COVID, but they've just lost them, or they've just sadly passed away. But for me, especially in my family and my family's culture, I guess, my mother was such an integral part of that. and I wouldn't be who I am today without her. And it blows my mind that I have somehow spent 3 months without her. And it just, I can't even fathom this most days. And especially for people like my dad, who lost his father around the same age as me, a little bit older than me, who was also in his early 50s, and then has had to lose his wife at, in her early 50s. They were married for almost 30 years and knew each other since they were kids. And even my friends have looked at my parents and gone, that's the kind of relationship I would love to have if I'm fortunate enough. And people like I have other family members, of course, too, but my mind always goes back to my auntie, who was actually my mum's identical twin. And I always keep thinking about how hard it must have been for her, not only to lose her sister, but when looking at her sister who has passed away, to see her own face. And I think there just must be something about that that is terrifying in and of itself. And even in saying that, they've been a huge support to me. And it's been so hard because I'm now one of the people solely responsible for a young man with autism, my brother. And I've always known that I was going to be my brother's, one of his primary carers, but not for a long time. It's always been apparent that I'm going to be looking after him regardless, because he's my brother at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's a lot of responsibility, and it's responsibility that a lot of people have said to me, like, oh, you don't need to take on that responsibility right now. You're in, a young girl in your 20s, like, you don't have to be like a third parent. But I've kind of always known that I was going to be one anyway. Now it's just a little bit more different. Now my name is going to end up, in the spot on paperwork where my mum's name was. And there is something really scary about that. About the fact that, this young man who really, really needs his mother no longer has her. And having to talk to my brother and remind him that I'm not our mother, and I probably never will be. And it's just heartbreaking to watch him realize that. I appreciate you guys hanging around to listen to me talk. I know this video isn't that exciting and is a little bit solemn and sad and melancholy. But I keep thinking of my mother's voice, and I think of her every single day. Because I think after 3 months of mourning, you don't really know what to do with yourself. I went through a period where I didn't work and I didn't really do anything at all. Now I'm working more. I've got a number of shifts a week. Now the lockdown restrictions in Australia and in Victoria, where I live, they're easing. So I am able to visit people. People have been really nice and have come to visit me and my family. Of course, still social distancing, wearing a mask, making sure that we're being safe. But it helps. And it does hurt to know that my mum never got to see that happen. And she was so excited for lockdown to be over, and it does hurt that she didn't get to see that. But I think about my mum all the time and the things that I think she would want me to do. She was always someone who would just kind of talk about these things when she was here, and I remember her saying to me, I hope that naturally when I go that you'll miss me, but at the same time I don't want you to miss me too much that it means that you can't keep living the way that you want to. And It makes me miss her even more, but at the same time, I understand. I feel like my mum would be really sad if wherever she may be, I'm not overly or particularly religious or anything, but I was raised in a Catholic family. Um, Wherever my mum may be, I think that if she saw me moping around the house and not doing anything that I said I wanted to do in the first place, I think that would make her more sad than anything. I feel like she'd almost be disappointed. So that's why I thought I'd make this video. I just feel like there's also not a lot of sense in demonizing my partner or ex-partner for leaving, because at the end of the day, I think experiences like this really kind of show who's there for you. And when my mother did pass away, I didn't know who else to call, and I ended up calling him, and within not even 5 minutes he was at my house trying to console me as best as he could, and I'm so thankful for him. And it's been hard. It is also a little ironic that something that has devastated me completely could bring me closer to someone who also hurt me and devastated me as well. But it confirmed that, that we were still friends and still cared about each other, and I think that was important to acknowledge. Because at the same time, stuff like this, it really shows you who's there for you. And there's been some people who I always considered really good friends who suddenly just didn't talk to me, who saw that I had mentioned something or posted something about my mother's passing, liked the post, and then never spoke to me, and still haven't spoken to me in over 3 months. And that's hard to deal with. I'm not going to go, getting angry or, absolutely insulting and villainizing people for doing that, because this year has been so hard and everyone has their own problems. But that's why it's so important for me to thank everyone who has been here, and there's so much that I'm trying to look forward to, and the people that I do care about, I so look forward to spending time with them when I can. I have some things that I want to do, things that I've wanted to do with this channel that I never got to do because I only just started out, things that I want to do with my art, things that I just want to share in general. But I just figured that before I do that, I had to make this video. It just didn't seem right to go about doing that without acknowledging everything that's happened. And to thank everyone for their support of me and my family in this time. And to thank everyone going forward who hopefully will continue to support me in whatever it is that I choose to do. And honestly, if you can take anything away from this video, all I ask is that even if you have a bit of a rough relationship with your family or your parents, that every now and then you actually make an effort yourself to spend time with them, to tell them that you love them, and to say thank you. When you remember to say thank you. You should be saying it all the time if you can. But we're all human and we're going to forget, and it's one of my biggest regrets that I didn't say thank you to my mother for the things that she did do. And to say that I was sorry for all the arguments that we did have, because she did a lot for me. I always knew, and I was always thankful. I just regret not saying it to her face enough. Because you don't realize it until they're actually gone, and then you try to tell them, but but there is a realization that they may not be able to hear you anymore. And I think that's the hardest part. There's a lot of things that I want to do, you know, because you do get to a point where you're aware that you need to get back on your own feet, or you will end up just being a vegetable on the couch at home, not doing anything. I do obviously advise that for anyone out there who's dealing with something similar, that you be gentle with yourself. I feel like that has been the most important thing. It's important that if you have something you want to do, that you do it for yourself. It doesn't have to be for anyone else. I do YouTube because I do it because I want to. I just feel like it, so I do it. I make art because it makes me feel good, and it's a way of expressing myself in ways that words just don't do, you know. And I look forward to when I can perform more, or I can create more. The possibility that I could turn the things that I like doing as a hobby into an actual paying job for myself. But that's something that my mother wanted for me as well, which I suppose is extra motivation for me to get up and do it. But the thing is, that stuff doesn't get done unless you actually get up and do it yourself. So I'm still going to take my time and be gentle with myself. But I hear my mum's little voice in the back of my head, and I hear her telling me to go, hey, alright, you've had your time, you've cried, you still cry now and then, that's okay, but you gotta get up and you gotta start doing stuff now, because it's not gonna get done by itself. And you can't sit there complaining that you didn't get to do the things that you wanted if you don't get up and start doing it yourself. So, and this is not me telling you, I think this is just me saying it out loud so that I can hold myself accountable for actually doing it. But right now I'm just taking it day by day. Thank you for sticking around. I know there was a lot of talking in this video. It will probably get cut back a lot. But I really appreciate everyone. Even the people who I thought weren't even going to be here, who are still here, and you know who you are. I've spoken to you in private, but I wanted to say it publicly as well. But thank you. And I hope that wherever our family members that we have lost, wherever they may be, that they're a lot more happy and they don't have to deal with this chaotic world anymore. So once again, I'm so sorry that this video was very much full of melancholy. There will be happier and hopefully more entertaining things in the future that you see from me. But for now, I just want to let you know I'm trying to be okay. So thank you. Be thankful for the things that you do still have, because I know I'm much more thankful for the things that I still have. I don't know when I will upload next, or when this will even get uploaded. It may be that I may not do anything for a little while. I think we'll just have to wait and see. So thank you. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.